This week in Women in Sports, a big homecoming for a basketball legend, how Lindsey Whalen hopes to help her former team, the Lynx, to victory. The Frosts are officially on the road to defend the Walter Cup. Their season kicked off this week, and we catch up with their growing fan base at the home opener. And a Bethel University track star is in the running for one of the most prestigious NCAA awards. When you meet her, you'll know why she's being recognized in such a big way. Thanks for joining us. I'm Marielle Mohs, and here at WCCO, we're celebrating the highlights of female athletes in this new digital segment called Women in Sports. We'll share new stories with you every week right here as we do our part to give these athletes the recognition they deserve. We begin with a Lynx legend who's returning to her team. Lindsey Whalen will be an assistant coach alongside Eric Thibault. He's the former head coach of the Washington Mystics. And those two know what it takes to win. Between the two of them, they have 5 championship rings. I was lucky enough to sit down with the two new coaches to hear how they'll bring that championship experience to the Lynx. Lynx head coach Cheryl Reeve joined her 2 new coaching staff additions at the Target Center Monday morning, officially welcoming them to the team. For newly named assistant coach Lindsey Whalen, this is a homecoming, as she's played for this team during its dynasty years, helping lead the team to 4 championships between 2011 and 2017.
What I'm really excited about for Lindsey is that timing is everything. And our time to be together as a coach and be on the same staff is now.
Whalen retired from playing and immediately became the head coach for her alma mater, the University of Minnesota's women's basketball program. The Gophers fired her in 2023 after a lackluster season, but says she's learned from that time.
I just know those experiences will help me on the staff and in a different role, and in a role that I'm going to work really hard to do everything I can for the team.
Whalen saw many of last season's playoff games courtside, showing Reeve she was ready to coach again.
To see her have joy in watching the game of basketball, and that we brought that to her. I mean, that was really special.
Eric Thibault also joins the staff as an associate coach.
In some way, I've been connected to Minnesota my whole life. You know, my dad is from here, and we have a lot of family in the area.
As the former Washington Mystics head coach, he was impressed by the Lynx.
I think a lot of people around the league really admired the way they played, and it's super appealing to me to come be a part of that.
Both additions see something special with this team that they want to be a part of.
It's everything that I could sense that it was from the TV screen and from the stands. That it's a great group, it's a fun group to be around, and I'm ready to get to work.
Speaking of getting to work, the first order of business for these 2 new coaches will be the expansion draft, which is happening as we speak for the new WNBA team, the Golden State Valkyries. Stay tuned to see how their new roster shakes out and if the Lynx will be impacted by it. And speaking of, the WNBA announced the identity of their first Canadian team that will be joining the league in 2026. This is the branding right here for the Toronto Tempo. The league says the name was inspired by the pace, speed, and heartbeat you feel in the streets of Toronto. The Minnesota Frost is putting their home opener loss behind them. The defending PWHL champs came out strong, but lost in overtime to the New York Siren 4-3. But as I found, the Frost fans show up to support their team, win or lose.
In the first period, they're dominant and all over the ice, so I think they can keep that up for the rest of the season. They'll be golden.
All the goals make that moment all fun. They should have won, but they still tried their hardest.
It may not have been the ending they wanted, but
There's no place like the home opener.
Especially returning to home ice as the defending champions. Before puck drop, the Minnesota Frost recognized for their inaugural win with the Walter Cup and a banner raised into the rafters of the Xcel Energy Center to permanently remember this forever.
Feels historical.
Kimberly and Ann Dublin had themselves a sports pack Sunday, swapping out their Vikings purple in the day to Frost purple at night.
I came straight from that game right over here, put my Frost jersey or Minnesota jersey on over my Justin Jefferson jersey.
While the inaugural professional women's hockey season made its mark in history, the feelings it evoked are still flowing in this crowd.
It's surreal because it's really cool to see women playing like Minnesota hockey.
It makes me feel good because it feels like I can do anything.
Betty Higuera and Evie Pearson play for the U10 St. Paul Saints girls hockey team. They are among the many young players who showed up to watch the home opener with their team repping their own jerseys.
The fact that everyone wants to support our hometown team and it's just a sense of like love and affection.
More than 8,000 fans filled the Xcel Energy Center for the home opener. The Frost did go on to win their second game Wednesday night against the Boston Fleet in Massachusetts. Well, another Minnesota basketball legend is making history. Hopkins native and UConn point guard Paige Bueckers became the first ever NIL-era athlete to design and launch a Nike Player Shoe Edition. The design has a shout out to her hometown with the numbers 612, the Minneapolis area code on the tongue of the shoe, along with the Connecticut area code 6860. And the back heel also has the text bubble she receives from her dad before every game saying, "Be you, be great." The shoes will be available to purchase on Saturday. And Paige started rising to notoriety as a high school basketball player in the Twin Cities, just like these next three ladies. There's a family takeover happening on the basketball court in the South Metro. Ren Clayton takes us to Rosemount to meet a trio of sisters who are killing it on the court.
It's a youth movement and a family affair on the Rosemount girls basketball team.
During basketball, it's kind of opposite. She's more of a driver, I'm more of a shooter.
This season, all three starting guard spots are held by sisters. Youngest, freshman Ashna, runs the point. At her sides, sophomore twins Arsha and Amisha.
They've earned it, and they deserve it, and it's fun to see their work come all together.
Paying off in many ways. Amisha is a top recruit and was an early commit to play for the Gophers.
After I got the offer this summer, it was just thinking of when, and it felt right.
For the opposition, seeing three starting sisters is quite the sight. The Romlaw's parents hear about it most.
My parents, they're always like, wow, 3 triplets. We always get really triplets because we all look alike. So that's one we always hear and say, wow, they're really good shooters.
The Romlaw's parents did not play basketball themselves growing up in Guyana, but now they have a certified basketball family. Their son plays for St. Cloud State. Competitive kids puts it kindly.
You want to beat them on whatever they're doing. And that was my goal as a younger sister, just beat her and beat my other sister and whatever it is. There's a lot of competition there. It does get a little physical, but you would say, but it only makes you better.
Who's the older?
Arsha by 31 seconds.
31 seconds.
Yeah.
So she beat you by 31.
I know, yeah, but she holds that against me all the time.
But when they team up, things flow.
We know exactly what we do well at, or with one's driving and then one's shooting, we know exactly what to do.
In Rosemount, Ren Clayton, WCCO Sports.
Awesome story, Ren. Thank you. The Gopher women's soccer season may have ended in the Sweet 16 in the NCAA tournament, but the recognitions keep on coming for one of their top players. Kaya Harper was just named one of 15 semifinalists for the MAC Hermann Trophy, which, if you don't know, is the most coveted individual honor in NCAA Division I soccer. The Lino Lakes native is the first Gopher to ever get on this list in program history, and the seniors proved her value to the success of the team this year by being the team's lead scorer with 17 goals. 6 of those were game-winning goals. She was also named the 2024 Big Ten Forward of the Year. The finalists for the MAC Hermann Trophy will be announced next week. And fans, you have a voice in this decision, so you can go online and vote for Kaya on MacHermannTrophy.com. That's 2 N's on Hermann. And speaking of big awards, a recent Bethel University graduate is getting recognized for what she's doing as an athlete and in her community. Not only is this next woman speedy on the track, she's also one of the NCAA's Women of the Year nominees.
I love moving my body and I love being outside, and so running brought those two together.
Anessa Edie dug her spikes into this track here at Bethel University for the last 4 years, her specialty being the 800 meters.
Some people say the 800 is the toughest race.
Competing at both the MIAC and national level, running around the track in 2 laps as fast as she can, a feat that she ran at a personal best of 2 minutes and 9 seconds.
It is a sprint for the most part, you're going 85 to 90% the whole time.
Just before she graduated this spring, Edie and the Bethel Royals women won the MIAC championship for the first time in program history. Even though she's now hung up her spikes, she's still being recognized for what she's done both on and off the track. From a record-setting 672 nominees, Edie is one of 30 athletes up for the award of NCAA Woman of the Year.
It's an award that celebrates not just the athletic portion of being a student athlete, but also the academic and the community involvement, like how much you were contributing to your campus and what you were doing to serve your community.
Edie volunteered at refugee resettlement agencies in the Twin Cities, service work that turned into a job after graduation.
That's why I chose D3, is that I could be somebody who was pursuing so many passions in college.
Her time as an athlete prepared her to be someone who's up for any challenge.
I can do hard things and I can do things I'm scared of.
And the NCAA Woman of the Year will be named in January. Good luck, Vanessa. Well, thanks for watching this week's Women in Sports. We'll be back with more great stories next week. I'm Marielle Mohs.